In this lesson, we will discuss the Mandinka resistance.
There were several factors that enabled Samori Ture to resist the French for a long time.
In this lesson, we shall define the term collaboration. We are also going to look at the reasons, cause, and effects of Lozi collaboration under the leadership of Lewanika. Collaboration means getting into a cooperation, association, or partnership with another person, party, or group. Lewanika entered into a partnership with the British, unlike Samori Ture, who resisted the French. Some of the reasons for Lewanika's collaboration with the British were: Lewanika needed British cooperation so as to quash a succession dispute to the throne that was threatened by his half-brother Mwanawina. External attacks in the form of Ndembele cattle raids. The Portuguese were raiding the Lozi for slaves with sophisticated weapons. Lewanika was impressed by the benefits the Chief Kama of the Ngwato in Botswana obtained from cooperating with the British. Lewanika admired the Western way of life, and his thinking was influenced by his secretary, who was also a French missionary, Francois Coillard. Lewanika was aware of the British military supremacy. What did the process of Lewanika's collaboration involve? It involved signing treaties between him and the British agents. Some of them include the Ware Treaty of 1889 that allowed the British to prospect for minerals, the Lochner Treaty of 1890, which gave the British exclusive mining rights in all areas of Balotse except for certain traditional iron mines, Lowly Treaty of 1898, which allowed British settler farming in Balotse land, the Corridon Treaty of 1900 that gave the British judicial and administrative powers, and as a result, Lewanika became a paramount chief and an employee in the British administration, and therefore no longer an independent king.
Lewanika's collaboration with the British had several effects on both Africans and Europeans. Some of these effects were: Lewanika retained his position as paramount chief of the Lozi. The British used Lozi to establish their authority over northern Rhodesia. Lozi chiefs lost all their powers except that of tax collection. The British South Africa Company exploited minerals in Borotse land. The British built schools, hospitals, transport and communication links in Borotse land.
In today's lesson, we shall learn more about the scramble, partition, and the British occupation in Kenya. In the previous lesson, we said that scramble is to rush for, compete, or struggle with others in order to get or do something, while partition is to divide something among people or competitors. We shall now look at the Berlin Conference that was held between 1884 and 1885 and which enabled the European powers to share Africa among themselves.
During the sharing, East Africa fell under two European colonial powers, namely Britain and Germany. The colonial interests of these powers were enhanced by the activities of the explorers, traders, and missionaries. The activities of Karl Peters from Germany and Harry Johnston in East Africa led to the scramble for and partition of the region into British and German spheres of influence. What was the main cause of the scramble and partition? Several causes led to the scramble and partition of East Africa. The main cause of the British interest in East Africa was to control the source of River Nile for her security in Egypt. Other causes that led to the scramble and partition of East Africa were the rise of Germany and Italy in Europe, which led to competition for colonies outside Europe. Many countries wanted to control the source of Nile and Suez Canal, which was a center of interest in Europe. Demand for raw materials for industries in Europe. Europeans believed that they had superior culture, hence wanted to spread it. Missionaries appealed for protection from their home governments. The process of partition of East Africa involved two powers, namely British and Germany. The actual partition was done through signing of agreements. This included Anglo-Germany Agreement of 1886 and Anglo-Germany Agreement of 1890, also known as the Heligoland Treaty. During the 1886 Anglo-Germany Agreement, the two countries agreed that a line was to be drawn from the coast to Lake Victoria. The northern part of the line, which is today Kenya, was to belong to the British, and the southern was to belong to the Germans. Witu on River Tana was given to Germany. The coastline and the islands of Lamu, Pemba, Zanzibar, and Mafia were controlled by the Sultan of Zanzibar. Why was it necessary to sign the Heligoland Treaty? This was a treaty that gave Britain full occupation of Uganda after she surrendered Heligoland Island in the North Sea. Germany purchased the coast of Tanganyika from the Sultan of Zanzibar. The Sultan retained the 16-kilometer coastal strip.